We have paid field coverage on Saturday mornings. One of the challenges that we had on Saturday mornings, everybody would try to figure out who's calling the rain out, right? Type deal, and we'd see the text or the phone calls at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. Hey, is anybody at the field, right? So at least now we pay Kirk to be there on Saturday mornings, at least first thing, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and give us an indication. I think you see we continue to strengthen our relationship with LTYSD. We have the volleyball coach runs our spring volleyball program. We just, the men's soccer coach is just coming to work with our soccer program. What was the assistant varsity basketball coach ran our basketball all-stars. He just called me and said he's now taking the job as the head basketball coach at Georgetown. So, we moved our soccer games to LTISD facility, paid parking, restrooms, stadium seating, and to reduce the overall demand. Right, we have roughly 1,000 kids a season playing soccer. Right, we can't have 1,000 kids playing soccer on 3 soccer fields.
All of our people got to experience the tournament this week with just you and I and U10.
Yeah.
Couldn't find parking.
So we rationalized the budgets. When I first got here, the sports did the budgets, and then brought them to the office, and then oftentimes they didn't get done. So now we do the budgets in the office. We send them out. To the sports. Working cooperatively with County Commissioner Gerald Daugherty on the Bee Creek Sports Complex. There will be a meeting in June held at the Lakeway Activity Center in which these folks that are evaluating the bond and what's going to be on the bond are doing a tour. Okay, they're doing a tour. And from this is representatives from the 5 other precincts, including ours. We're precinct 3, I believe, right? So, and they're going to come and they're going to present what they think should be on the bond, okay? I'm told we need to have 100 to 200 people at that meeting, right? If you don't know what this is, so 3 years ago, November 3 years ago, we worked with the city of Lakeway to purchase 70 acres immediately adjacent to the new middle school, okay? With the intent that it was going to be a youth sports complex. At the time, we had hoped to sell our current complex, take that money, partner with Lakeway and the county, and have enough capacity to provide the sports that we needed. After evaluating that, as I tell people, it's the flattest piece of hill country property available to us for free, right? So we're not, with our growth rate is identical to LTISD's, right? We've grown, in the last 3 years, we've grown 50%. 93% of our players attend LTISD schools. The reason it's not higher is we offer programming for kids that aren't in the school system yet. If you look at tackle football, last year 96% of our kids attended LTISD schools. My kid goes to private school, so he's one of the kids in that 4%, but we live within a district, so at any time we could be part of that. So for the most part, all our kids attend or could attend, live within the district boundaries. So we have decided we're keeping our current field. The county has decided they would like to make that a sports complex like Northeast Metro, Southeast Metro, and East Metro. Anybody have any idea what's common in that? Northeast Metro, East Metro, Southeast Metro. They're all east of Highway 35, right? There are no county-supported sports complexes anywhere in western Travis County, okay? So we have an opportunity now to have the potential to get this on the November bond, and if it passes, then the county would build and operate the facility, and we essentially would use that in addition to our current fields to facilitate additional fields for our kids at a very reduced rate.
Let me interject a couple things here, because this is where Scott and I have spent, that's where the 100 hours came in, basically, on my end. It's so important to know, I'll stand up here, that we are up against it on this one. As Scott just mentioned, I mean, we have got to get our folks to that meeting. We've got to show, hey, we're serious. We want this deal, because folks in East Austin and the other part of the county, candidly, look, I've sat in the meetings with Gerald and with the mayors of all the different places. They think there's a gold mine out here somewhere that's going to pay for all this, literally. And here's what's also unique about our position. Of all the fields that are out and around there, we're the only ones that got out and basically as a community got behind it. Lakeway provided the land. So if we can get this thing right, I know it's been frustrating, trust me, we've been at it. We're neck deep in this thing. But if we pull this off, the county is going to pay for all of this, okay? So the reason why, and I waited, but earlier we saw that giant cash budget, you may be thinking, where'd that cash come from? Because as we were going through this process, we thought we were going to need the money to either put it into the current fields, buy the new facility. It's a long, long-winded story. I can talk to you offline and give you all of it about it. But that's why that cash balance is so high. The great thing, and this is why it's so important, that we got to get our folks there, okay? Here's the problem we have, and I know, look, we all got multiple kids. We're stretched so thin, you wait on your neighbor to go make the vote, and we don't do it. That's just what we do in this community. I can tell you on every bond election, I know it, I've seen the numbers. We have got to get there, because the people that are going to be running this meeting are going to judge how many folks are in the room as to how serious we are about it. I mean, guys, we've got this thing at the freaking 20-yard line. We got to get it in the end zone. That's the only way we're going to do it. I mean, get everyone. Hell, I don't care if they're at the LTYA or not. You got a family reunion? Bring them all. Shit, maybe we'll buy a pizza or something. Dude, we got to jam that room up and let them see the show of force, because we pull this off. The county's going to build it. They're going to run it. And I don't care what sport you play. It's going to be, soccer's going to be affected, softball, baseball, football. It's helping all of us. So this is a big, 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 big deal. Sorry?
When is it?
When is it?
It's going to be the second 2 weeks in June, and we don't have an exact date yet, but as soon as we get it, we'll let everybody know.
So soon. We started, marketing that to get out there.
We don't know exactly when it is.
We don't know the location.
Yeah.
Once we get that, yes, you're going to get an email, and we got to get on social media. We got to get everybody there. We'll be behind it. But just know it's coming, and don't let that pass. That's such, because what will happen if we don't show well there? What could happen, right, is that committee. I mean, we've been told by everybody involved, that committee said, well, okay, they're not as into it as we were told they were, and they may steer it another direction.
It's important we show up, because we did do that request 6 months or so ago for the email to support the parks person, the parks project, the 10-year plan. And the good news is that over 600 people, I think some big number, but it's the most that Travis County Parks has ever had respond to a request for a park amenity, ever, right? So the good news is y'all have computers and y'all can email, right? So what we really need to do for this meeting, though, is actually get off the couch and go and attend and be supportive of this, and we have a good shot of getting it. First, they have to agree to put it on the bond, and then the bond has to pass. So if it doesn't get on the bond, we're done. If the bond doesn't pass, then we're done. And it should be an election this November.
One other note on that, because I've had questions, just so you guys have background. You may remember they were going to put us on the bond a year ago, and Gerald, Commissioner Doherty, who's a huge advocate of ours. I mean, his background, he's run sports facilities, and he's been a good friend of ours. He told us, look, I'm going to pull you off of this thing, because he got a good indication, because it was part of that giant courthouse, like $250 million, whatever. He got an indication that thing was not going to pass. So that's why he pulled us off of there. And we'll basically, now there'll be other things on it, but this is our best shot on goal, being the primary focus of the bond. So if anybody asks you, that's why we didn't do it last year.
We talked about the upgrades to the Field of Dreams and soccer irrigation system. Rec soccer continues to be our most popular sport. There's over 1,500 players in rec soccer alone. Elite soccer continues to flourish. We've got Nick Gordon as the director of soccer. David Bramwell, the men's varsity soccer coach, just come on board. Our O2 girls went to the state championships. and Amy Douglas indicated we got 10 plus boys and girls selected for the South Texas Olympic training program. Keith or Charlotte, anything you guys want to add on that?
Just that the numbers that came out the other night for the 07 tryouts were incredible. We had 100 kids come out and actually try out for the 07 girls, and it's just amazing the traction we're getting, and it's because of what we're trying to get the community to understand that the kids that want to play a high level of soccer can stay here and play. They don't have to go outside of the confines of Lake Travis to do that.
So there's 100 girls and
Just in the 07 year.
Just born in 2007, trying out to
That's
play higher level soccer. We relocated the rec soccer games to LTYA facilities. Again, we play from our fields. So when we had the fellow that takes care of all the turf at UT come out and look at our facilities. He happens to live out here. We also had the guy from Texas State come out and look at our facilities, etc. We talked to a number of other contractors, and they basically said, you have too much play in the fields, you need to take play off the fields, and you need to get more water to them. So that's what we're working toward. There's a beautiful office building now where our baseball field used to be, Drysdale Park. If you were only here a year ago, you've never seen that. But we had a baseball field, so we've managed through the loss of the Drysdale baseball field. We have over 1,000 kids playing baseball. How we did that is I happen to, I have a son who plays for the high school team now, and we were playing in Indiana a couple years ago, and I was watching this field, and I couldn't understand why there was 2 different foul poles until they converted from like 12U to 14U, and they did that by moving home plate. And so we took our big high school baseball field, we cut the infield in, and now we play 12U by moving home plate up 4 feet. So, and we put a temporary fence there, and then we can play 13 or 14U by moving home plate back 4 feet and using a different foul pole and taking the temporary fence down. So baseball's done a good job in managing through the loss of that field. Softball, they launched Wee Ball. The only league in Austin offers 4-year girls softball. They're really proud of that, right? Because they play the boys every week. They have one team, and they play the boys every week that are there. And so I understand that everybody is having a lot of fun. Softball wants a pitching initiative. They're the first and only softball league that offers all registered players 2 pitching lessons every month, and now they've got 3 teams going to the All-Stars for the first time in quite some time. Basketball, we get 800 players in the winter season alone. All-Stars run by the men's varsity coaches, LT Girls Select Program integrated into LTYA. And we did enter a rental relationship with Bee Creek United Methodist Church for additional gym space. For those of you who play basketball or any indoor space or even field space, this is Kerry Whitman. He heads up our softball program. It's a good time. We're not allowed on any elementary school before 6:30 p.m., and that's due to after-school program. So you can't be on the fields before 6:30. If somebody goes and practices on a field before 6:30, it goes from the school to Brandy to me, usually then to the sport. That's just the way it works. This may help us with some programming, at least maybe to give us some earlier time slots. Golf, we do offer golf. We have a relationship with the Hills Country Club. We have a rolling program there, and we have golf. It's only open to 10 kids at a time, starting at age 9, but they go through a 6-week curriculum with a professional instructor from the Hills. Similar program, we have about 100 kids a year that go through tennis with the Austin Tennis Academy. Flag football just a few years ago, we had about 50 kids in flag football, and they were traveling down to San Antonio to play. This year we had over 500 kids play flag football. As we adjusted to an L2A versus L2A mostly league, we'd integrated Dripping Springs in as well, more to help them than help us. I think Jim Donnelly oversees that program, and I think we're moving away from that, the Dripping Springs integration, but it's still going to be L2A versus L2A. We had 250 kids playing Sunday afternoon indoor flag football this winter in the Cavalier Activity Center. 7-on-7, more than double 2017 over 2016, playing at high school turf field, the CAC. Philip Albright oversees that. Tackle football, one of the big initiatives was to get our kids playing on the turf field at the high school, which we were able to do. 4th grade team and 6th grade team went to the regionals in Dallas, finished second. 5th grade team was division champs. They held the 2nd annual KDR Memorial Golf Outing and fundraiser in 16, and this year they had 17. This was a fundraiser they gave back. We gave a bunch of equipment to kids in East Austin, and we're holding our intro to tackle, football, and conditioning camp on the tackle field. We'll do that again this year. 2017 challenges, field space constraints. We still have constraints in terms of what we're going to do in the field. We were talking to Steve about that earlier, exactly how we do that. We do have some new local competition that's coming into the market that I think will compete with us head to head that we'll have to manage. One of the challenges are I think we've grown so big that there's a general lack of understanding of who and what we are. We're a volunteer-centric private organization, right? Our sports are run by the volunteers with the help of the office, right? We have 3 paid people in the office, right, that really keep track of registration, the money, and pay the bills. But the sports decide on the rules, the sanctioning bodies, the alignment, how they run, the schedules. All that is done by the sports, right? So I do most of the scheduling. LTYSD has asked us to have a single point of contact, so I fulfill that role. So if there's ever an issue with LTYSD, they come to me, I go to them. And so I generally do all the rec scheduling. So I do all the soccer scheduling myself personally. I do all the basketball scheduling. I do all the basketball practice schedules and launch that every week. But I don't do that in a vacuum. Right? I talk to Steve on soccer. Where are we playing? What hours are we going to play? Right? Same thing in terms of basketball. We understand how we've done things in the past and what we do. So we're still a volunteer-centric organization. Right? We have 6,000 kids playing. Probably have over 1,000 volunteer coaches. Player growth is outpacing volunteer growth. This is not unusual to us. This is not unique to us. I keep up with everything associated with the National Alliance of Youth Sports, and this is a challenge everywhere across the country, right? In basketball, we've launched the Start Smart program for pre-K kids because research says that if you get parents involved with their kids at a younger age, that they're more apt to continue to volunteer. But player growth is certainly outpacing volunteer growth. Again, not unique to us. We have the same conversation with way in town and country, etc. So we're very thankful for all of you that are in here that have offered to volunteer, do volunteer. Our sports are delivered by the all-volunteer boards with the help of the office and not the other way around. You get a lot of people that call into the office and they want an answer right away. Quite honestly, we can't give them an answer right away because a lot of times we don't know the answer, right? A lot of times it's really a sport decision, and I get that. We had a lady walk in the office the other day and look at me and said, "Are you Steve Johnson?" No, he's a volunteer. He actually has a job, and he works downtown. But we were able to sit down and have that conversation. But this is, this is one of the challenges that we have, especially when leagues grow to 1,000 kids at a time and 100 teams. 800 kids in basketball. 800 kids in basketball, that's 100 teams because we play 3-on-3 and the little guys, and then 4-on-4, and then 5-on-5. So the good news is we've got a good new energetic group of volunteers that I think will continue to fill in and plug in some of these gaps and get that handled. Our initiative, safety is still our highest priority. Fiscal responsibility is right up there. We will not open any sport registration without board approval. All the sports are required to go to the parent board before they're open. Before we open registration, every month we submit the financials, and everybody on the board gets to see all the financials. We do plan to celebrate our 40th anniversary in 2018. Most people don't understand. We've been here as a volunteer organization, mostly volunteer organization, for 40 years now, and I think that's quite an accomplishment that we have, and we need to find a way to celebrate that in 2018. Continue to work to find creative solutions for field space, make the capital improvements to the Field of Dreams, work hard in the new sports complex, improve our delivery of sports by volunteers, improve our customer service in a volunteer-centric organization. Is there a way that we can better answer those questions? Increase parent involvement, improve coaching tools, make it easier for folks to want to coach. I know soccer's looking at that. I just sent those guys some online training stuff to review that's affordable. We've done some stuff in basketball in the past. Enhance our community-centric feel and position in the community. This is an initiative that I took on when I first got here, like participating in marketing Springfest as an example, or when the hospital had their Fright Fest, etc. We have a powerful database. We probably have 7,000 active email addresses. We have over 40,000 total email addresses, but we have about 7,000 active email addresses. And it's interesting because, first of all, every time I send an email, I get a lot of interesting responses, whether sometimes it's related to the topic, oftentimes it's not. But most people tend to appreciate when we send out things like, there's a home football playoff game tonight, hope to see everybody there. But not everybody likes that email, I can tell you that firsthand, right? Not everybody wants to go to Fright Fest at the hospital. There's a chunk of people who feel that, we should just deliver sports and be gone. But really, we are part of the community, right? And I think more people enjoy knowing all the things that are going on in the community and how we can support those activities. And then continue our quest with Positive Coaching Alliance. We require all our coaches to have three things rather. A background check on file, which is updated every 2 years. To have passed the concussion training course, which is required by our insurance carrier, and to pass the Positive Coaching Double Goal Coaching course. So every one of our coaches should have those three things done. All of our board members are required to have those three things done. So if you're newly elected to the board and you don't, you'll have a little studying coming up. But they're quick. But you'll see now, Positive Coaching Alliance they had a commercial on the Super Bowl. They have commercials on Fox Sports Southwest. They're making a big push. It's a good program. This is our first line of defense, by the way, when a coach gets crazy. And we do have a few crazy coaches. Hopefully nobody in this room. But our first line of defense, if a coach does something that usually requires a corrective action, in our opinion, the first thing we generally make them do is go back and take the Positive Coaching Alliance course over again, and then we do have a whole process for that. All right. So I was actually going through all that quickly, and hopefully they could count the votes, but apparently they're still counting. So, questions?
What is the future of the Select Baseball program look like?
So Select Baseball, they went out and they basically, that's Johnny behind you.
It's great.
So they did go out, and baseball went out and put together a request for a proposal from a number of local organizations on how to better deliver Select Baseball. They've just received those back as of Wednesday night, and they're working on a time to sit down and evaluate them. Right now we have 4 teams. We have a 9U team, we have 2 11U teams, and we have a 12U team. And our positioning in the marketplace is a little bit like soccer started, which is at a lower price point. but generally, but all volunteer driven. And the gap probably in our program, like soccer filled the gap by hiring a director of soccer, but they're able to spread that over 2,000 kids across the select program and the rec program. So baseball is half that if they would spread it over all the kids. So that's a long answer to, they've gone out for a request for a proposal, they've got the information back, and they're evaluating it, and hopefully we get some resolution to it soon. Yeah.
How are technology decisions made in the organization?
So the question is, how are technology decisions made?
Like what type of platforms that you use as far as like Blue Sombrero versus others?
So we went out. We went out a couple years ago. Well, first of all, back in 2013, we used sports sign-up, right? And they were doing just fine, but it cost us about $15,000 a year. Blue Sombrero is owned by Dick's Sporting Goods. Dick's Sporting Goods is a large contributor to us, both in terms of cash and in kind. So we mainly made that decision back in 2013 as a cost-saving measure because they don't charge us anything, right? So the website is free, the registration system is free. So that's how that decision was initially made, and it was done with the understanding that it integrated into Got Soccer, because all the soccer people need to download into Got Soccer, right? So we understand that there's still some challenges with our ability to do that hopefully we're working through. But back then, we evaluated a number of different options, and ultimately the board decided. Other questions? Yeah.
Scott, we run LTYA runs ads during the Friday night football game on the radio. Is that something we pay for? If so, what's the expected return on that investment?
Yeah, so we support all the booster clubs, really supporting each of them. So each sport chooses whether they're going to support the booster club or not. That was part of an overall package that football and the board chose to support football. So,
but does that money go to the booster clubs, or is that money going to the radio station?
It goes to the booster club.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not paying for any radio advertising. It goes to the booster club. Yeah, and that's part of the package. Other questions?